Still in the studio this morning here at the KSCW. Charlie O'Hara here with us. Thank you so much for being here again, Charlie.
Sure, glad to be here.
Good to see you. We've got calls already before I even finished teasing it. They were calling us. So let's go ahead and get to those phones to get the questions answered. Go ahead, caller. What's your question for Charlie this morning?
Yes, I was injured at work in March, and I had a doctor's excuse to not work that following April. For one weekend, when I called to find out what my schedule was, they said I no longer worked for them. Said I was a no-call, no-show. And I don't have any insurance. I don't have a doctor. I'm still in pain. I have no money coming in. I don't get any workman's comp checks. And I'm in a heap of hurt. I don't know what to do.
Well, I would advise you actually to get a hold of a workman's comp attorney. If you were fired because of some injury at work and they fired you because you couldn't come into work, that's not right. And we have laws to make the employer not do that and pay you for your losses. So when you're not getting anywhere, that's what lawyers are for. Sometimes people hate to go to lawyers, but that's probably a good reason to go to a lawyer. There's lawyers that do a lot of work comp, and they can probably answer your questions real quickly as to whether you even have a claim. You may have waited too long if you didn't file a claim. I don't know what all the rules specifically are in your case, but I would get a hold of someone, not an insurance person or anything like that. I'd get a hold of an attorney for my side so I could find out what's going on my side, your side. So I think you ought to do that.
Okay, thank you, Charlie. We're going to head back to the phones. We have another caller on the line with a question. Go ahead, caller. What's your question for Charlie this morning?
Yes, my daughter wrecked my car last year, and I was supposed to get half the settlement, and she's supposed to get settlement, but I have not gotten my part of my settlement for my car.
Well,
and it wasn't her fault.
Okay, well, I don't know what all the circumstances are. If your daughter was driving the car and she actually got the check, then you need to get with your daughter to get that half of the check. If it's an insurance company and they haven't paid you, well, you need to get a hold of them and see why they haven't paid you. If they haven't paid you, then you're going to have to get a hold of an attorney. The other thing you can do on that is call the insurance commissioner. If some insurance company isn't doing what they're supposed to do, the state insurance company can come. The state insurance commissioner can come in, and the companies are supposed to follow the law, and they're supposed to pay people when there's a claim out there. So there's all those alternatives you have, and I think you're going to have to do some active things on your behalf to find out why you're not getting the money.
Well, and I'm sure different circumstances have different time frames when it comes to getting that money back.
Well, everything in the law has different circumstances. People think it's all the same, and there's always an exception to everything, and things run differently depending on the facts. So everything's really kind of dictated by the specific facts of every case.
Okay, thank you. We're going to head back to the phones. We have another caller on the line for Charlie today. Go ahead, caller. What's your question?
Yeah, we've been raising a granddaughter since she was three weeks old. We have guardianship of her. She's now almost 10, and she wants us to adopt her. We've always been mom and dad. Her mother, which is our daughter, is all for it. It's the father who's had no contact for 10 years, and we can't find him. And if we can find him, how old does she have to be to fight her father, to take away his rights?
Well, I don't know that the daughter can ever take away his rights. However, if he's had no contact with her for 10 years, that's really a important fact. I think you're going to have to probably get a hold of an attorney in that situation. You're going to have to do some service by publication if you can't find the person, which means they put it in the newspaper and it's on there that he's been served, and do some other things that you have to go to court about to establish that he's had no contact. And no contact means no contact. If he sent a card or paid some money or something like that in child support, it may not fly without him being actually notified and having a chance to appear in court. So I think you ought to get a hold of an attorney. If you've got the child and she's living with you and everything's fine, I don't know why you can't just proceed like you are, because if her mother's approving of it, you've got guardianship papers, you're basically in effect, while not legally her parents, you're basically taking care of her and taking her everywhere she goes, and she's going to think you're her parents. So there's no really magic reason to have the adoption done if you're her grandparents and you're taking care of her. You might just want to stay where you are.
Well, and obviously in this situation too, they haven't even found the father yet, so he could very well give up rights if he decided to.
Yes, he could, and if you can't find him, there's legal ways to do that. It just takes a little while.
Okay, thank you, Charlie. Good to see you again. Thank you for answering our questions.